Welcome, 16-bit hockey fans, to another edition of the NHL 94 podcast. I'm Len the Legend, and today I'm joined once again by Darrell. Darrell, buddy, how are you?
Len, it's good to see you. I'm doing well. I'm doing really good. I'm looking forward to this.
It's been a while since we've been in this type of setting. We have communicated quite a bit in the past on Discord, but in this setting, it's been a while. So it's good to see you again, and I'm happy to have you on the show. Hopefully, I didn't scare you the last time. Last year, by the way, we actually played in the King, but we'll get into that in a moment. We do have the upcoming King, and that's why you're here to talk about that. King of 94, 10th annual. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's our 10th edition. I say annual because it's been annual for the last 9 years. We actually skipped 2016, but this is our 10th edition of it. So, yeah.
And even through COVID, you guys did it, but they were done through online. They were virtual.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did 2 years of online for the King of 94 because obviously couldn't meet in person, which is too bad. But I think people enjoyed the online one, and it allowed some people who can't make the live tournament to participate as well. So we actually had, I think we had quite a bit. We had close to 50 on each one, if I remember correctly. We had a lot, so it was good.
Awesome. So this is going to take place at Freeplay Toronto. That's 300 College Street, September 20th, 21st. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. roughly. Is that about right?
That's right. Yeah, it's till it finishes. I expect the Super Nintendo one to finish a little bit earlier than that, just because there's less people.
And this year, the SNES is taking place on the 20th. That's a Saturday, and the Sega
right.
Genesis is taking place on the 21st to Sunday. But the 2v2s, when are those taking place?
So the 2v2 is going to happen. The Super Nintendo one's going to happen right after the King of 94 is finished. It'll be like I'm expecting probably the Super Nintendo one to hopefully be done by 5, and so then that gives us some time. We've got it a little bit past 6, up to 7 o'clock. I have it booked because I allowed for some extra time to do the 2v2. So and then 2 hours should be enough time. That tournament is typically a very short tournament. Then the second one we're actually doing it at an Airbnb, so that one's going to happen Saturday night.
I can imagine the hoopla for that one. Hopefully, you don't get your neighbors too upset, given how much it's going to be rowdy. Those tend to be really good. And
yeah.
Are you participating in that too?
Well, I just said if somebody needs a partner, then sure. But ideally, I can find a match for like a partner for everybody. So it would literally be if there's an odd number and somebody wants to play, then I'll step in. Otherwise, I'm just happy to run it. Or happy to organize it. Actually, Kids Wasted is helping me out with it. So
he's awesome.
He's one of our community members, and I think he's got 2 sets of each. So he's got 2 EverDrives of both consoles, 2 of the 4-way for both consoles, and controllers. I mean, everybody will be bringing their own anyway. So yeah, so it'll be good.
Is it a full roster? Do you have every slot booked, or there's still openings in case somebody wants to buy in to King of 94?
Oh yes, the tournament itself. Yeah, there's still spots available. So we're getting down to the last. I think we got about another week there. Sometimes there might be a couple that sign up last minute. They usually wait till the very last minute just to make sure that they can go. I'm not expecting anyone from Sega at this point. And there's 2 guys on Super Nintendo that did tell me they were going to go a while back. I haven't heard from them since. So, but we'll see if they register the next few days here.
Auto goalies full too, or just about?
No. So auto goalies was interesting last year. We only had a couple for Super Nintendo. We had 4 or 5 for Sega. This year it's the opposite. I think we have 6 for Super Nintendo and just 2 for Sega at currently. So I have to kind of figure out. Smoz and I have talked about it, and I think we might either offer the same solution what we did last year, where the 2 Super Nintendo guys, they just agreed they wanted to play a best of 7. They're both going to get prizes, and one of them is going to get a trophy. So I'll offer that to these guys. If they don't want to do that, then my second offer would be like we would just put them in the round robin with our groups, but then they would just go off and play their own final after it's over. So
in that case, then you're going to be, if you're doing the auto goal, you're guaranteed to play of several matches, of 4 or 5 matches, right? Is that right?
They have the same amount as we do, 8.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
unless they choose not to. But yeah, so I would prefer them. Or it'd be nice if we had more players, but I'm going to offer both scenarios, and we'll see which one they want to do.
So guaranteed age. So somebody that wants to come in, this is their first year, and they're figuring out what's the setup. You do a round robin with 5 other people in your group. Is that correct?
The Super Nintendo one, yeah. So they're going to play everybody once, and then there will be probably one more game against. They'll play somebody twice. Each person will play somebody twice. So that'll get them their 6 games, and then everybody will make the playoffs in the auto goalie.
And there's double elimination there.
That one's best of 3. Best of 3. So we just seed best of 3 until it's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last year, I just want to say I participated, and it was the first year I have done so, and I had an absolute blast. I actually did make it to the finals of the puke, and you know what? I'm sad to say I remember I beat you along the way. If you recall,
I do remember. Did you eliminate me? I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Bad doing
you
this.
did. You know what? Sega's not my jam. It's absolutely fine that you knocked me out. Actually, I lost to both finalists. So DPS, who won?
Yeah.
He beat me and knocked me down, and then you beat me and you made it to the final. I can't remember. Did you have to beat him twice, and you beat him once, and then he beat you the second time? Is that what happened?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I picked the teams Dallas. I still remember this clearly. Dallas and the Kings, hoping that he would pick Dallas with the speed, but no, he picked the Kings, and I was like, shoot, now I had to play with Dallas, and I suck with Dallas. It just I can't hit the net with them. Nobody can hit the net with them, but that was terrible. It's
when you get in those best of ones, you just got to go with the same matchup that you're comfortable with. So unless you know specifically that the other guy is good with a particular team, then obviously you want to go the route of not offering up that team. But at least that's the philosophy I usually go by. I kind of look at who I'm playing, and unless I'm sure that they're really good with a particular team, then I usually just pick what I like.
What's your dream matchup if somebody offers it to you in
Secrets.
either system?
Secrets.
Okay.
No, there's no secrets. I like Hartford Islanders. Actually, on both systems, I like that matchup. I like on Super Nintendo. I like St. Louis, Philadelphia. I think it's fairly even. And then on Sega, I don't know what else I might go with. Maybe a Winnipeg, Vancouver, maybe just because Solane and Bure, but I think Vancouver might be the edge there. So, but yeah, I guess again, it really depends on who I'm playing. If I was playing a really good guy, I might just go with 2 crappy teams and try and see if I can limit their skill level. But the problem is that I don't have any skill level, so so playing with 2 crappy teams doesn't help me much either. And then I just hope that maybe I can eke out a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that, you know.
Smoz is the man that loves the
he loves it. Yeah, he does it
and
all the time.
I'm a disciple of him. I've been playing a lot with those crappy teams, and I've, you know what? Those are my dream matchups. I love having Ottawa, Anaheim, give me Florida versus Tampa or something like that. I'll take those all day long.
I called that in a round robin against Anatar, who's a much better player than I am, and he still crushed me like by 4 or 5 goals. So it didn't really work there. He actually said to me, he goes, I thought you were going to do that, and then sure enough, after he said that to me and then picked the team he wanted, he just kind of steamrolled me after that. So
you can get your revenge. You can get your revenges.
I don't think so.
When are the groups going to be established and made public?
The groups are established now. I just haven't announced them. Only because I usually just wait a little bit longer, just in case. Because there was one guy that signed up yesterday, and he was a pretty good player. He finished 5th last year. So that made a big difference on how I had to maneuver some of the players around in the Super Nintendo groups because I try and make them even. There's lots of factors that go into the groups. The most important is trying to balance them. So top players, mid-tier, and bottom level players as best as I can. Then I also look at people submit requests so that they don't want to play with friends or cousins or things like that if they're traveling with buddies, which is fine. So I try and make sure they're separated out. And then I usually try and mix a bit of Canadians and Americans so that it's just like not all one group of Canadian players or not all one group of American players. And the same thing with online and offline too. I try and balance that a little bit. So some of the guys that you play online all the time, I try and at least, if I can, try and get one or two guys in there that don't play online often so that you get kind of somebody new that you're playing. So, when you come to the tournament in a live setting, at least half the guys you probably shouldn't have played before, at least in a round robin. So, and maybe more than that too. So,
Any Europeans coming along? Last year we had some Swedish guys.
Yeah, we had Swedes last year. I think that was a one-time thing. I mean, it's pretty costly for them to travel. They wanted to do it for a while, and it was just timing. Obviously, finances. It's not cheap, but they basically made a trip out of it for probably 4 or 5 days. So they did all the touristy things like CN Tower and went down to Niagara Falls and saw Leafs game and those kind of things. So, but yeah, no Europeans this year, so. But you know what? I'd love to have a tournament there one day. I don't know if it would be a King tournament necessarily, but I think it would be fun to organize one over there because there's lots of European players that love the game. But I mean, it's just trying to make a commitment and time to come over here. So,
what's your schedule like? You're coming out of town, right, to start to come for the tournament, right? You don't live in Toronto or in GTA. Like, what's your? I'm curious. As an organizer, you're one of the organizers, but one of the main cogs. What's your schedule like?
I fly in from Saskatoon. So if anybody's watching and doesn't know where that is in part of Canada, it's in the western provinces. It's about a 3.5-hour flight, I think, to Toronto.
Wow.
So if I was flying straight now this year, I had to, because the timing will work, I actually have to leave on a Thursday night. And then I fly to Calgary first. So I'm going the opposite direction because that's how WestJet Airlines seems to like to do things. And then I'm doing the overnight flight from Calgary to Toronto. So it's like an hour and a half from Saskatoon to Calgary. And then it's, I think it's a 5-hour flight from overnight. So I arrive at, I don't know, like 6 a.m. or something like that in Toronto.
Holy, that's
and then and I've got a couple of brothers of mine. They live just south of Toronto, well, part of the GTA, and so I stay with one of them for that night, or for one of the nights, and I still have some of the gear there. So he lets me keep it there for the year, just in his garage. I've got a couple of tubs of TVs and consoles and controllers and games and everything like that. So then I pack all that stuff up and bring it in town later on Friday night.
And for people who want to help, what can they do? What would you suggest they do? How can they reach out? And because I know it's a busy thing for you, so like I'm sure helping hands are welcome.
Well, I think so. A couple things, like when we do registration, I actually ask outright, anybody, here's what we need for people to help, and that's where everybody kind of steps in and says what they'd like to do. So there's guys that will help set up the equipment, which is awesome. We got guys that want to do some commentary on the stream. Great, we need those people. And there are some guys that are going to help log scores. That was one of the things we wanted to improve over last year. We didn't, I don't know what happened, but we didn't dedicate like a couple people from each group to be able to go into Discord on their phones and just pop in some scores of those round robins. So what ended up happening was when it was over, then I feel like we must have spent like a half an hour, 45 minutes just punching in scores and then determining all the seedings. So it slowed things down. So we're trying to cut things down this time. So smoz, I think, is or has reached out to some people from each group. And usually we usually just ask the guys that have been there, multiple times, know what they're doing. So obviously wouldn't ask somebody new to do that. So, So yeah, so that's basically how people are helping out, and that's how we've gone to ask them to do it.
How many CRTs is Smoz bringing with him?
He has an equipment list. I was looking at it this morning, and I think he has 11 TVs now.
He's the best.
Now he's not bringing them all because I don't think he can. Well, I should say
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he can't fit them all in his vehicle. Although he did tell me, I think he told me about a week ago he bought a new vehicle, and I think it's a bigger vehicle. I can't remember what kind it is now. So it's going to allow him to put a little bit more stuff in there. So 5 for sure, and then I think it really depends on the rest of the list. Like I've got 2 already there, and then I'm bringing four other televisions because I just need to get them out of the house. I've got too many TVs here, so I'm gonna bring those. I'm gonna use those. After the tournament, I'm gonna ask if anybody is willing to take some home. If the answer is no, then they'll get tossed.
Oh. Who else is involved with setting this up? You mentioned Smoz. You mentioned, what other name?
So it's the 2 of us that organize the whole thing. I asked for help with the 2v2, and I asked for Kids Wasted's help because he's actually been really involved in terms of donating prizes and asking questions and seeing how he can kind of chip in. And I said I could really use some help with the 2v2. So he's like, yeah, I'll help with that. And so he'll start setting up those systems like partway through the day, probably either when his bracket is done or maybe earlier if he has a break. So just to get those set up. The Super Nintendo ones are pretty easy to get 2v2 going. I feel like the Sega is always an issue. There's something to do with if you don't have the right 4-way, it doesn't work with the EverDrive. It's not something that I'm totally in on, but I remember that happening last year. I can't remember who brought one, and it took them like 20 minutes to half an hour, I think, to get rolling. It took a long time. So, and then anyways, so I asked him, he's like, yeah, I tested them all. It'll be pretty easy. So I was like, that's good. And I'm bringing one myself for Super Nintendo because I've got the 4-way for that. So we're going to try and have as many as we can. I don't know how many teams we'll have, but if we can get through it, more systems obviously is better, and then you get to play a few more games, right? And there's no charge for this, so that's why I haven't said what the format is going to be, because it really depends on how many teams we have. If we have like 4 or 5, then we get a lot more games. If we have 8 or 9, then I have to reduce the games to make sure we get done in time. So yeah.
As for commentators, New Jersey Killer is going to be one of the people doing it, I'm hoping.
Yes. Yeah, I asked him again. Last year he was there for 2 days. Oh man, he was a machine. He did awesome.
Great.
People loved him on the stream. He did so well, and I was like, dude, you're welcome back anytime to do this, to play, to do this. And I said that to him after. I was like, it was just I listened to it. I said it was just so genuine. It was so nice to listen to. And so he definitely wanted to come back this year. I don't know if he's going to be there for both days or not, because last year he only plays Sega, and so he did Sega, and then he did some commentary with Sega throughout the day. And then Super Nintendo, I think he did almost the entire day. He was on the mic. He might have took a short break, probably to change one of his jerseys, which seemed to be a common theme throughout the weekend for him. But so he's going to jump on it. Sebi has told me that he wants to. I like Sebi. I've listened to him. Husky is an IU Husky. It wants to do some streaming as well. So yeah, I'll squeeze you in there. If I can do it this year, I like doing it. I usually like to do the finals if I can, or the last couple of, maybe the last the semis and the finals or something like that. So if I can do those, then I'll jump on. It really depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes the day is just long, and takes a lot out of you when you're running around and on the mic and logging scores and telling everybody where to be. So we'll see. So those are the key ones right now, and then I'm sure that there will be other people that will want to. I know like Raph he's really good, and Stanton Air likes to jump in sometimes. If Dan TML was here,
Yes.
I would have suggested him as well, but I don't think he's coming this year. So
Oh.
he hasn't registered yet. I think it's just it's timing, finances. It's not in the cards for him at the moment.
Right.
So yeah. Anyways, that's what we got on the go.
Anything anything that was going to be different this year that people might notice compared to last year or previous years, or is it going to be pretty much par for the course?
Well, I mean, yes and no. It'll be different from last year, but we're just kind of going back to the way we had it before. So there's no super group this year. Everybody's going back and will be divided into even groups like we had it before, and it will be the top. If you win 4 games, between 4 and 6 games, you're going to go to the King bracket. It's not just going to be top 16 this year. So whatever that number that ends up being, that's what we're going with. And then the Duke bracket is 2 to 3 wins. And then our infamous puke bracket is 0 to 1 win. So puke bracket, people always, I know Smoz doesn't like the name. I love it. I think it's great. It's a double meaning because there's a player in the game on New Jersey, Valerie Zalapukin.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one guy a long time ago who doesn't play online anymore. He used to call him Puke all the time, and I always thought that was great. And then I don't even know who came up with the name, but I just thought like all of this kind of funny, like Puke being the bottom, So lots of different ways you can look at it.
I don't think anyone's gonna have an issue with that. I think it's pretty funny. It's witty, and the whole event is just a lot of fun. Just meeting people first time, or just playing people again for the X time. That's what it is. Just it's a lot of fun. Just getting together and playing 94. Think about it. Like this game is 32 years old this month.
Yeah,
and people are still getting together and playing it. Like it's insane.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah. When was I think we. What did we go? Somebody went back and tried to figure out the earliest date of when NHL 94 was released.
I think I was responsible for spearheading that. I tried that
you
last
were
year.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it was around like the 23rd. Somebody had found an old forum, and somebody had posted and said, "I picked up this game yesterday." And whatever, made some comments on it. We looked at the date, and it was like I think it was like September 24th, 93, which would meant the 23rd. I might be off by a day, but it was around there, and it was kind of interesting because I mean, like today there's a release date, when it's coming out. But back then it was just like whatever store got it first, it was on the shelf, and that's how it used to be. So.
Different time, and you plug it in. There's no wait for downloading or patches or whatever. It is a final copy. They worked out all the bugs, hopefully, and even bugs that managed to stay in there, like the wait bug. Just work around it, right? It's part of the lore of 94, and it is what it is. And
yeah, all the bugs that have been found over the years, like if it was too perfect, you probably wouldn't enjoy it as much, But when you have these little things that happen every once in a while, it's like exciting, it's frustrating, it brings out a lot of different emotions depending on what side of the puck you're on when that happens. But I find things like that are what makes the game so enjoyable, regardless of which console it is. So,
how do you handle some of the bugs? For instance, the goalie lock. What do you do if your opponent is goalie locked? What do you do?
I'm probably one of the guys that people don't like. So, because it's in the rule. And if it's in the game, it's in the game. I look at it. It's because from my understanding, the goalie lock, you can avoid that. You can avoid getting yourself in that situation by not pushing your goalie up. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I would take advantage, and I tell people, score on me if it happens to me. Like if I do it, then I'll take it. So that's how I look at it. Everybody else I know is different, but if I was playing and someone did it to me, I'd be like, hey, good for you. And I would just move on.
Open season on Darrell if it ever happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, it's so fun. Glenn, this year, the Sega group of players is so tough, top to bottom. It is insane how many good players we have this year and how many good players. I think it's probably the best field I've ever seen. I think it is, top to bottom. There are so many good players. And so what that tells me is because last year I went 1-5 in Sega, and I started 0-5. I won the last game in overtime. This year I'll probably go 0-6 on the Sega side. So, whatever I do is not going to matter. If I take advantage of one little glitch, the score will be 6-2 instead of 6-1. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not too big of a deal with me. And so, anyways.
So on that note, then let's talk about the Sega side. We'll go to the Super Nintendo after.
Yeah.
Any predictions?
Sure.
Do you have any sort of like?
Oh, to who's going to win it?
The finalist. Who do you think would be the finalist if you had to guess?
I mean, AJ. There's right now. He's. I mean, oh gosh, Scribe has met him in the final last 2 years, and like Scribe won one game out of 4, out of 5, something like that over those 2 years. He's just so dominant right now. He's won it 3 years in a row. He's won it 5 times. And so I don't know. I mean, the only one I think that it depends on how far Raph can go. Raph could challenge him if Raph makes it to the final. But sometimes Raph will run into an opponent that, maybe he's not as strong against, he plays AJ really well.
Yeah.
But still, I just, AJ's lost 9 times total in all of the years of live King of 94 tournaments. 9 games total out of probably the 100 games he's played. I think 7 of those were to Raph, though. So, yeah, Scribe beat him once. Smoz beat him once or twice. I don't remember. Maybe Smoz beat him twice. And Scribe beat him. It was something like that. I'm not exact on statistics, but that's what I'm expecting this year. But AJ, he's such a humble dude. He will say, like, there's so many good people. That's how he is. And I think that's probably why he's so good at the game too, because nothing bothers that guy. If you watch him, he's dialed in. He's dialed in. He's dialed in every single time. And like, it doesn't matter who's up on him, whether they're up 3 or 4 goals. It doesn't matter. He'll find a way and he'll come back. If he's up 3 or 4 goals, it's over. So
that's I mean,
yeah, I mean, so now it's interesting too. I'll just say one more thing about the Sega side. There was a guy named Cash Money who came up from Philadelphia last year, and he played extremely well. And really, he was within a goal of making it to the top 3. He played Spac-Man in the winter semi, I think it was, and they went to game 3. And I think Spac either won by 1 or beat him in overtime, something like that. Well, let's just say that got reversed. Now that puts him in the top 3. So then what would the top 3 have looked like from that point? I don't know. And so he's one guy that could be very interesting this year of how he might do. And so we'll see if because I don't think he's played AJ live yet. So maybe it's a different matchup that AJ hasn't seen before. Maybe it's a different. I don't think he's played Raph either. He played Raph once in the round robin. I think he beat him. Just the one game. So, anyways, but he's another one that I think is interesting. My favorite my favorite one stat is that the last 3 years, the 3 third place guys are all really good friends. That's Sebi, Kaze, and Spac-Man.
Yeah.
The nickname they go is the Spider-Man.
Are the Philly guys coming to? And if so, how many?
5. Yeah, and I would say that there was 8 last year. Last year? 8? Yeah, 8 last year. And the 5, I would say the 5 strongest ones are all coming back this year. Yeah.
And we haven't touched upon the predictions, if you want to even go that far, for the SNES side.
Well, right now, Prof's won it 2 years in a row. So I know Bob Kudelski's back this year, who's won it before. There's no Dangler this year, who's been in the finals 3 of the last 4 years. There's No Coke this year, who's been top 3 for a number of years. So you never know. McMarcus made it to the final last year, which I think was the first time he ever made it. At this point, I'm thinking until somebody knocks out Professor, it's his to lose.
Do you have a dream matchup you'd like to see take place in the?
Oh,
SNES?
him and Bob, I think, just
Yeah.
because they both won it before, and they're the only. I think they're the only champions that are playing in it this year, former champions.
Yeah, Bob got sick last year and couldn't make it. He wanted to show up and just unfortunately, so fingers are crossed things don't repeat this time around.
But I mean, and I'll say too, like, I mean, there's Raph that could make it to the final.
Yeah.
There's AJ that could make it to the final. There's a few guys like Anatar. He's played in the final before. So there's guys there that could just do it and make it just as easily, and potentially win it too. So they're not that far behind those guys I just named. They're very, very close. So, and I think Prof and Bob would also tell you that, like, all those guys they're all within range of each other.
Yeah.
And they could, and maybe would it be an upset if one of them lost? Sure, but it would be a very mild upset, in my opinion. So,
just need Mikhail to come out of retirement and make another.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't heard from him, so it doesn't look like he's going to be there. So, and
it's funny because he's a friend of mine, and so like that.
I think you maybe told me that.
Yeah, and it's like when I first learned that, holy cow, small world. And so I don't want to get into too much because I don't know him, and I can only guess why he's not playing, but it's just be a guess on my part. But back to the King of '94. Moving forward, where's it going to be taking place? Say next year, are you still going to be in the same venue, in the same city, same area? Like, what's your take where it's going to be taking place next year?
I'll say Toronto.
You're not sold on that. It's still up in the air, or it's.
My plan is to come back to Toronto, but sometimes I worry if it gets a bit stale for guys if they keep going back to the same. I mean, the venue's awesome. Mm-hmm. I think the venue's awesome, but like anything, maybe they want to go to a different city, and I like to travel, so. Obviously it's a joint decision between me and Smoz, but I mean, right now I'd say, the plan is to be in Toronto, but I never want to say with 100% certainty that's what it's going to be, because who knows, something else might come along and somebody might say, hey, we've got an awesome venue here in this city. We've got lots of space. Do you guys want to come here? I mean, that's how Freeplay started. The guy owner reached out to me, and to me, that is a very important thing when running this, that you have somebody who loves the game, and obviously the venue itself matches what kind of people are attending, but having support from that is very important. It was like when we went to Waves, they were big gamers, and it was fun having them there too. So those things are important to me. Like when I went to Las Vegas, it was that one. The trip was fun. Not what happened that weekend. That was the disaster weekend. But but like they told us, hey, we'll have 16 CRTs for you, and we'll have lots of space. They had lots of space, but they had 5 CRTs, and I was just like, oh boy. So then we had to play on a bunch of new TVs, and I know that a lot of guys hated that, and I was just like, I can't do this again. Can't do that. It's not fair to the players that come to it. We want to try and keep it as close to the original days as possible. I get that it's not always possible, depending on what we have for equipment every year, but sometimes we have to upscale a little bit, because I know that we did that for a couple of the systems, I think, on last year, if I'm not mistaken. We played on 1 or 2 TVs, didn't we, at the venue? Because we had the HDMI.
Yeah.
We had the HDMI output from the Retro Trio, because we needed 1 or 2 more stations. So, which still played fine. So, but anyways, that's the hardest challenge organizing these things. If I was in Toronto, it would be so much easier. Because then I wouldn't have to hardly ask anybody for anything, because I would have all the stuff, I would move all the stuff and all that kind of stuff, which I don't mind doing. But when you're when you're 2 time zones away, makes it a lot harder to try and coordinate these things.
Yeah.
So
No, I get it. This is not easy to organize, especially as you mentioned, so far away. I hope it's in Toronto next year. I could say selfishly because I'm nearby.
Right. Yeah. So like I said, you asked me if it's there. I'll say yes, it is right now. But
Sweet.
And I don't have any plans otherwise. I never want to say 100% certainty until I know for sure, and I've locked down the date for sure in the venue, because I may have to change when it is next year. I shouldn't say may. I'm going to have to. So
I was just going to touch upon that because you were talking about that in the forum.
Yeah.
So that's right.
I'm not going to get into the details on that, but I have to find a different weekend.
Got it.
And sucks when you do that, because it will be beneficial for some people that couldn't come, and others will be like, well, I can't come now. So
it'll be a different time of the year, and it looks like it's going to be, not set in stone, but sometimes earlier.
Yeah, right? I don't know yet. I've had conversations with a lot of people who've messaged me privately. So, and I try and weigh that all in as much as I can, but at the same time, I need to be there to run it. So
yeah, 100%.
So smoz can't do it by himself. It's too many. It's too hard. It's already hard with 2 people. We need a lot of help when we do it. So,
is Mikey going to show up? Because he's the one that's kind of started this all, didn't he?
He says he is. He says he's going to be there.
Holy cow!
Yeah, he said he is going to be there. Now I haven't. That was the last. The last time I spoke to him was texted him probably a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if he's booked his flight yet or anything like that, but he has indicated that he's going to come, which would be awesome. It would be awesome to have him there. So I told him he should come. I told him he should play too. He doesn't want to play. He goes, you know what? I just like hanging out and talking to everybody and drinking beer and all that kind of stuff. So just watching everybody else play. So, and if you've never met Mikey, like, that is the answer that you would expect from him. He's just a very enjoyable person to be around when you meet him. He's just full of energy.
Yeah.
So
that's the kind of vibe I got from him when I was chatting with him. I interviewed him a year and a half ago. He's like such a cool cat. Yeah. And yeah, I hope I get to meet him live. Ken Griffey Baseball, that's going to be one of the things taking place this year. Am I wrong?
Yes, we're doing that Friday night. We've got 10 players. Again, that's at an Airbnb that we're staying at. And this will be our 4th one. I don't know if I'm going to do it next year. It was hard to put this one together. But it is Kadelsky and the Wiz. They all like playing in it. Stantonator won it last year. I usually mid to bottom of the pack and would playing these guys, but it's a fun game. And I think, it's popular in Canada because that's when the Jays last won the World Series. Like, the game is based on the 93 team that won it against who did they play? Phillies?
Philly, yeah.
Yeah, Philly. Yeah, because they beat the Braves before that, and then they beat. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's the year it's based on. So I think that's why the game was probably so popular, because pretty much everyone in it is Canadian, except for NIU Husky is going to play in it too. So he's come out from Chicago area, Illinois, somewhere in Chicago.
There was a second game we used to play too. Was it a basketball game or something that was also? But you're not doing it this time around, right? Or
no, we used to do NBA. We did NBA Jam.
That's it.
Tournament edition.
Yes.
We did that in 2019. And I did that because DPS he's like one of the best retro game players. Like, you throw any game in his hand, he's good at it. And some of them he's like the best at it, like Tecmo Super Bowl, sorry.
Yeah.
And even Tecmo Bowl, he's really good at that. But NBA Jam, gosh, in 2019, he won both of them. He was just cruising through everybody. And so then I didn't bring it back because then COVID hit. So I didn't do any online one. And then the red dog's just beside me here. He probably needs to go outside, but I'm just trying to keep.
If you have to let him go, just let me know.
Oh, it's okay. We'll see how far we can get here. Till he starts barking and driving me nuts. Yeah. So then, anyways, so going back to that, we brought it back in 2022, and that time we only did Sega, and I think AJ won that one. He beat Segathon in the final. So that one we had 8 or 10 players. So each time we had in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 players. So that was a game I loved playing growing up. It's interesting what you learn about that game. The best way
It's an
was
endurance game, right? You were describing it as kind of like that's what you have
the
to.
best way to describe it is it's not a basketball game. It's a how much can you smash up the other team to lower their endurance and strength and all that. That's what really the game is. It's like beating the other team to a pulp so that their best players can't shoot as well and whatever, trying to injuring them as much as you can. Which when I think about it, when it was explained, I can't remember where I read it. I was on the Reddit or somebody said that to me, and I was like, okay, that totally makes sense now. All these years, I was just trying to be flashy and shoot the threes and all those kind of things and do the fancy moves, but I wasn't focusing as much on the trying to destroy the other team. And then I realized that you need to do that, otherwise, it's hard to win if you don't.
That's the meta. That's the most effective tactic available, right? So it's free play. Are we allowed to play games over there, or do we have to? Are we able to play the arcade games at free play?
Yeah. So your entry fee is included as part of the fee to get into the building. So because it's a $10. So if anybody's going that's not in the tournament, they'd have to pay the $10, but you guys don't have to. So you can
I'm
play.
gonna snag you.
So you can play whatever you want. Yeah.
Whenever you have 10 minutes, I'm gonna snag you. I want to play NHL Open Ice with you. If they have it
Yes!
there, and if you're
Yes.
Love
I
that
want.
game.
I haven't played that in a long time.
Same.
And it's such a fun looking game. I know that. Oh gosh. Well, I probably played when it first came out, and I played it a little bit, but I haven't played much. Or there's no arcades here that have it, and so yeah, I'd love to play that one. There's another arcade game there too. It is what's it called? There's Open Ice 2-on-2, and then that's the one with the NHL players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. But then there's one that's got those. It's also 2-on-2, and it's Hit the Ice.
Right.
Yeah, that arcade is there as well.
We're gonna have to play. So you and I.
Yeah. I don't know if I like that one as much, but anyways.
Now I know there's a new banner that's being created for this event, and new shirts as well. Maybe you could plug that. Do you have any samples you could show us here? Or?
I have no samples. That all came together kind of last minute. This guy that I know I used to work with like almost 30 years ago. We worked at Sobeys together way back out in Nova Scotia. He's a big hockey gamer. He used to compete in a lot of the online NHL tournaments. And he said, like, I'd like to get involved in this somehow. Like, what can we do? And then it was like this all happened within the last couple of weeks. So I was like, well, hey, you know what? I've been trying to find somebody to make us some T-shirts and make a design for us. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. Let me throw some things together. And I said, what about a banner? Could you make a banner for us? Something that people would like to sign? And so he sent us a bunch of options. He made some designs, and we picked one out, which we thought was the nicest one. And so, I think it'll be a nice keepsake for this tournament. Like it's the 10th one. So yes. We thought we kind of there was so many door prizes and other things this year. We thought we wanted to go a little bit over the top. So.
You only live once. You might as well enjoy it, because once it's done, you only have.
I just wanted to make it. I just want to make it fun for people. So, and I don't mind putting in the.
Oh, it is a big thank you for organizing this. This is not easy to do, and it takes time away from your family and for other things. Like, big thanks for organizing this tournament. So,
yeah, you're welcome.
One last question. I know your dog is probably itching to go out, but I want to just ask you this one final question. And I know you've played this. It's the fighting ROM that Chaos has developed. What are your thoughts on this? I've played it. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I haven't played it.
Oh my gosh.
No, I haven't played it yet. But I've seen it. And yeah, what he's doing is amazing. And it seems like he's from everything that I'm reading, it's like not just putting it in the game, but like how it's going to, like how often it's going to happen for fighting in the game. Like there's so many, it seems like there's so many variables
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to kind of get around to kind of perfect it. And I think it's going to be amazing when it's all done. So I'm in the camp of take as much time as you need. Like we've waited 30 years for it. Who cares if it's another few months or whatever to get it how you want to get it, and then just make it real kick ass. And so that when he's finally ready to release the official version, we'll call it, it'll be really cool. So I mean, kudos to him. He loves doing that stuff, and he's just spent so much time on it. And I mean, where would we be in the community without him? Not just from that, but the online database. Like without him, there's no online. It decreases drastically because he's the one that fixes everything and all that and sets everything up. I know he's got AJ helping him too, but yeah. So stay in the community as long as you can, bud.
No, for sure. We don't want to chase him out. Do you ever foresee then a version of fighting that's going to be included in King of 94 in the future?
No.
It's always going to be the stock version.
It'll always be the stock version. Now, that isn't to say that we couldn't have a side tournament.
Right.
With it. We could do that. But the King of 94 tournament will remain original consoles, original cartridges, the way that we played it 30 years ago. So that's the allure of it. Because I mean, otherwise I wouldn't even have to have it in person. I could do it online, or I could do it with ROMs and just get computers and all that. Like this, there's so many ways you can play the game, but it has to stay this way. So
100%. Any last words before we sign off?
No, I was hoping for rapid fire.
I wasn't going to give any rapid fire because you've gone through this already. This is not anything new for you.
I know. So. I was like, I wonder if he'll do a rapid fire. I'm just kidding.
I like to give that to somebody that's new that just comes on. So unfortunately, no rapid fire for you. You already saved all my shots.
It's all good. I appreciate you having me on here, Len. You do such a great job. You're excellent interviewer. So well prepared. So and I'm looking forward to hanging out. So
yes, we'll be doing that very soon.
I don't think you're in my group this year, if I remember correctly. No, you're not.
You escaped a win then.
Actually, so I have it right in front of me. I'm just going to take a look.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to nothing. I want to be as surprised as everybody else.
No, I'm not going to tell you which group you're in.
I don't want to know anything.
Yeah, you'll be in a fun group.
All right, I'm having fun.
They're all fun.
Yeah, that's all that counts. Darrell, appreciate you taking time, and thank you for your dog too for being as obedient as he has been in the past little while. So with that, take care, and for people that will be attending, I look forward to seeing you in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thanks, Len.